In a world where daily challenges, overwhelming emotions, and the constant search for meaning seem to be everywhere, how do we navigate the storm? What if the answers to these questions were already laid out by ancient and modern thinkers, offering a pathway to peace, purpose, and understanding? Welcome to Philosophy Playground, where we explore timeless philosophies that guide us through life's complexities. From Stoicism and ancient Greek thought to Eastern wisdom and modern movements that are reshaping the world today. Imagine starting your day with the weight of the world on your shoulders, stress from work, worries about the future, and the noise of constant information. Now, imagine facing all of this with a deep sense of calm, where you control only what you can, your thoughts and actions. This is the essence of Stoicism, founded by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism teaches that true peace comes from within. By focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot, we can maintain inner tranquility despite external chaos. In a world full of distractions, Stoicism offers a mental toolkit for living with strength and serenity. Now, let's look to the East, where Buddhism and Taoism offer profound insights into the human experience. Buddhism invites us to confront suffering by understanding its root causes and following the Eightfold Path, which emphasizes mindfulness, compassion, and ethical living. In a world where we are often pulled in many directions, Buddhism teaches us the power of being present. Similarly, Taoism urges us to live in harmony with the natural world, embracing simplicity, spontaneity, and the flow of life. By aligning our actions with the Tao, we find peace and acceptance rather than resistance. In more modern times, we encounter philosophies like Feminism, Pragmatism, and Phenomenology. Feminism challenges us to rethink gender roles and fight for equality, highlighting movements like #MeToo, which continue to challenge power structures. Pragmatism, championed by thinkers like William James, teaches us to focus on practical solutions and the real-world impact of our actions, emphasizing results over abstract theories. Finally, Phenomenology explores the essence of human experience, asking us to reflect on how we perceive the world and how our consciousness shapes our reality. These philosophies are not just academic. They offer real-life tools for navigating today's challenges. At Philosophy Playground, we invite you to dive deep into these ideas, challenge your thinking, and discover new ways to approach life with clarity, purpose, and a sense of peace. Let's explore these timeless teachings together and unlock the wisdom they hold for our modern world. Stoicism and ancient Greek philosophy offer profound guidance on resilience, self-control, and rational thought, principles that feel especially relevant in today's fast-paced and often stressful world. Stoicism, founded in ancient Greece, teaches individuals to distinguish between what they can control, their own thoughts and actions, and what they cannot, external events. This philosophy doesn't merely suggest a passive acceptance of circumstances. It encourages a focused effort on personal virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Meanwhile, ancient Greek philosophy, particularly through the works of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, emphasizes critical thinking, ethics, and logical inquiry, laying the intellectual foundation for countless fields that shape modern life. A practical application of Stoicism is evident in the life of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor known for his Stoic philosophy. Ruling an empire is no small feat. Yet Marcus Aurelius maintained his composure and principles through immense pressure, capturing his reflections in his personal writings, Meditations. He demonstrated that true power lies in controlling one's responses rather than attempting to control external chaos. This mindset, choosing rational calm over reactionary behavior, can resonate strongly with today's leaders and public figures who navigate intense public scrutiny and high-stakes situations. Through Aurelius's example, Stoicism teaches that we cannot control every challenge we face, but can choose how to respond, fostering resilience and inner peace even in times of crisis. The Stoic idea of the dichotomy of control becomes particularly helpful in today's modern landscape where stressors abound. We live in a time when world events, Economic fluctuations and personal circumstances seem beyond our control. But instead of spiraling into anxiety over what we cannot change, Stoicism suggests shifting focus to our own actions and perceptions. This perspective empowers individuals by affirming that while we may not shape every outcome, we can influence how we respond, building resilience that insulates us from external turmoil. Such Stoic resilience has modern applications, from high-stakes business environments to global political arenas. Looking deeper into ancient Greek philosophy, we see that Socrates advocated for continuous self-examination and the pursuit of wisdom, famously stating, "The unexamined life is not worth living." His method of questioning, known as the Socratic method, encourages intellectual humility and critical thinking. Socrates believed that understanding oneself is central to leading an ethical and meaningful life, a philosophy that aligns closely with the introspective nature of Stoicism. By regularly examining our intentions, actions, and values, we foster a grounded and authentic life, one that aligns our actions with our principles. Plato, a student of Socrates, expanded these ideas, founding the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. Plato's Republic explores themes of justice and the role of the individual within society, laying the groundwork for ethical and political theory. Plato's theory of the ideal state, led by philosopher kings, serves as a reminder of the importance of wisdom and moral virtue in leadership. In modern contexts, this Platonic ideal can inspire ethical governance and encourage leaders to prioritize justice and the common good over personal gain or unchecked power. Plato's teachings highlight the value of prioritizing knowledge, critical inquiry, and collective harmony in political and social spheres. Aristotle, a pupil of Plato, introduced a nuanced view of virtue ethics, arguing that virtue lies in finding a balance between extremes, a concept known as the golden mean. He suggested that virtues like courage, temperance, and generosity are best expressed in moderation rather than excess. For example, courage lies between recklessness and cowardice, while generosity balances between extravagance and stinginess. This balanced approach can serve as a guide for modern decision-making, suggesting that extremes often lead to adverse consequences, whether in personal life, politics, or business. Aristotle's insights provide practical tools for ethical living, urging individuals to consider the repercussions of their actions and aim for harmony and balance. Aristotle's work also laid the foundation for logic, scientific inquiry, and empirical research. He believed that understanding the natural world required observation and reasoning, an approach that has influenced scientific and philosophical thought for centuries. This empirical approach encourages critical thinking, allowing individuals to assess situations objectively and make informed decisions based on evidence. In contemporary settings, where misinformation can spread quickly, Aristotle's emphasis on logic and evidence-based thinking is crucial, underscoring the value of skepticism and inquiry in the face of superficial truths. The synergy between Stoicism and ancient Greek philosophy thus creates a powerful framework for self-improvement, intellectual growth, and ethical living. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate resilience and self-discipline, focusing on our internal strength to navigate life's challenges. At the same time, ancient Greek philosophy encourages us to question our beliefs, think critically, and seek ethical balance. Together, these philosophies guide us to a life of purpose, integrity, and mental clarity. For instance, in examining the lives of contemporary figures like Bill Gates or Angela Merkel, we see echoes of these philosophies in their actions. Gates, in his philanthropic work, prioritizes calculated, evidence-based approaches to solving global issues, embodying an Aristotelian respect for logic and inquiry. Merkel, with her calm and balanced approach to governance, mirrors the Stoic ideal of steady rationality and inner peace amid external pressures. Both of these figures reflect an alignment between personal values and public actions, a testament to the enduring relevance of ancient wisdom in modern life. In sum, Stoicism and ancient Greek philosophy together provide a blueprint for a fulfilling, resilient, and virtuous life. By focusing on what we can control, embracing self-discipline, and cultivating wisdom, these philosophies encourage us to live authentically and thoughtfully. The teachings of figures like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Marcus Aurelius remind us that true strength comes not from controlling our circumstances, but from mastering ourselves, a lesson as valuable now as it was in the ancient world. Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism and Taoism, delve deeply into human nature, emphasizing inner peace, harmony with the natural world, and interconnectedness. Both offer timeless wisdom on navigating life's challenges with grace and resilience. Though they approach it in distinct yet complementary ways, Buddhism, which emerged from the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, known as the Buddha, offers a structured approach to overcoming suffering through the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. Taoism, rooted in ancient Chinese philosophy, emphasizes harmony with the Tao, the Way, encouraging simplicity, spontaneity, and acceptance of life's natural flow. The Buddhist path begins with understanding the Four Noble Truths, which diagnose the nature and cause of suffering. The first noble truth acknowledges suffering, dukkha, as an intrinsic part of life. Suffering, according to Buddhism, is not only the physical pain and emotional hardships we face, but also the sense of dissatisfaction that often accompanies human experience. The second noble truth identifies desire, attachment, and craving as the sources of suffering. It's this clinging to transient things, material possessions, relationships, status, that perpetuates dissatisfaction. The third noble truth offers hope, stating that it is possible to end suffering by letting go of desire and attachment. This cessation of suffering, or nirvana, represents a state free from the cycle of rebirth and suffering. The fourth noble truth prescribes the Eightfold Path as a means to achieve this liberation. This path encompasses right understanding, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. It is a comprehensive guide that encourages ethical living, mental discipline, and wisdom, each element reinforcing the others to cultivate a balanced, mindful existence. Consider the contemporary relevance of mindfulness, one of the key practices in Buddhism. In our fast-paced, often chaotic modern world, mindfulness has gained popularity as a method for managing stress and improving mental well-being. By observing thoughts and feelings without attachment, individuals can cultivate greater self-awareness and emotional regulation. Mindfulness has been adopted widely, from tech companies like Google, where mindfulness sessions are held to foster employee well-being, to figures like Oprah Winfrey and Steve Jobs, who found mindfulness instrumental in their personal and professional lives. Mindfulness, rooted in Buddhist meditation, allows individuals to disengage from the constant pull of thoughts and emotions, offering a reprieve from anxiety and stress. The concept of impermanence, anicca, in Buddhism complements mindfulness, urging practitioners to recognize that everything is in constant flux. This awareness allows individuals to detach from desires and live with a greater sense of freedom, accepting life's ebbs and flows without being overwhelmed by them. Impermanence fosters resilience, as seen in people who have faced significant adversity. Consider figures like Nelson Mandela, who endured decades of imprisonment yet emerged with a spirit of forgiveness and dedication to justice. By accepting change and loss as natural parts of life, Mandela demonstrated a profound resilience that resonates with Buddhist teachings on impermanence and inner peace. Taoism, in contrast to Buddhism's structured path, takes a more fluid approach, focusing on harmony with the Tao. The Tao, or the Way, is an ineffable force that flows through all things, representing the fundamental order of the universe. Taoist philosophy emphasizes the concept of Wu Wei, often translated as effortless action or non-action. Wu Wei encourages acting in alignment with the natural order rather than forcing outcomes. This doesn't mean passivity. Rather, it suggests a state of flow where one responds to situations intuitively and with minimal resistance. It's a concept similar to being in the zone, where action feels effortless and natural. unencumbered by excessive analysis or control. A powerful embodiment of Wu Wei is found in the art of Tai Chi, a Taoist martial art that emphasizes flowing movements and balance. Practitioners move in sync with their breath, gracefully shifting between postures that reflect the Taoist ideal of unity between mind and body. Tai Chi exemplifies the Taoist principle of balance between effort and ease, tension and relaxation. Its practice not only enhances physical health but also fosters mental clarity and emotional balance, illustrating how Wu Wei is both a philosophy and a practice of harmony in everyday life. Taoism also emphasizes the balance of yin and yang, symbolizing the interdependence of opposites. This principle asserts that life is a dynamic interplay of contrasting forces, light and dark, active and passive, male and female. Yin and yang remind us that no state is absolute. Each contains the seed of the other. In modern leadership, this balance is reflected in figures who manage to combine strength with empathy, like New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern. Her response to crises, balancing firmness with compassion, illustrates a harmonious approach to leadership that resonates with the Taoist idea of yin and yang. By embodying both strength and gentleness, leaders like Ardern offer a model of balanced leadership that respects the complexity and duality of human nature. Buddhism and Taoism together provide rich insights into ethical living, self-understanding, and inner tranquility. Both philosophies encourage compassion and humility, urging individuals to connect with themselves and others on a deeper level. In Buddhism, compassion, karuna, is a central virtue, encouraging practitioners to empathize with others' suffering and act with kindness. This compassion is not only directed outward, but also inward, fostering a sense of patience and acceptance toward oneself. Figures like the Dalai Lama exemplify this compassionate ethos, advocating for peace and kindness on a global scale. His teachings encourage seeing beyond cultural and national divides, promoting a sense of shared humanity and empathy that aligns with the Buddhist principle of interconnectedness. Taoism, though less explicit about compassion, also emphasizes a life of simplicity and harmony with nature, which often translates into a respectful and kind approach to the world. In Taoist texts, nature is a teacher, and individuals are encouraged to live in harmony with the environment. This respect for the natural world has resonances in today's environmental movement, as activists and thinkers advocate for sustainable practices and a shift away from exploitative consumption. Figures like Jane Goodall embody this Taoist principle, dedicating their lives to conservation and the protection of ecosystems, advocating for a life that aligns with nature rather than dominating it. Both Buddhism and Taoism encourage a reflective, inward journey that ultimately cultivates inner peace and resilience. By following the Eightfold Path, individuals learn to live ethically, think clearly, and maintain mindfulness, gradually releasing attachments and cultivating a serene, balanced state of mind. Similarly, by embracing Wu Wei and aligning with the Tao, individuals can move through life with grace and flexibility, responding to change with openness rather than resistance. In embracing these philosophies, we find guidance for navigating life's challenges with wisdom and humility. The teachings of Siddhartha Gautama and Lao Tzu remain profoundly relevant, offering pathways to a life marked by compassion, harmony, and an enduring sense of tranquility. By integrating these teachings, individuals can foster a life of resilience, ethical integrity, and inner calm, drawing upon ancient wisdom to lead lives of greater depth and meaning. Western philosophies like Christianity, Marxism, and utilitarianism provide unique perspectives on ethics, society, and individual behavior, influencing everything from governance and economic structures to personal morality. Christianity, a faith rooted in the teachings of Jesus Christ, presents a spiritual framework centered on love, forgiveness, and redemption, while Marxism, founded by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, critically examines the socio-economic inequalities of capitalism and envisions a society structured around equality and shared ownership. Utilitarianism, developed by thinkers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, approaches ethics from a practical standpoint, focusing on actions that maximize happiness for the greatest number. Christianity emphasizes a relationship with God and encourages a life of virtue modeled after Jesus Christ. Central to this philosophy are values like compassion, forgiveness, and humility. The Bible, comprising both the Old and New Testaments, provides a guide for Christian living, portraying humanity's journey toward salvation and offering stories that underscore moral teachings. One of the most powerful parables is that of the Good Samaritan, which illustrates the Christian imperative to show kindness and aid to all people, regardless of social or ethnic differences. This story, encouraging people to look beyond boundaries to help those in need, has inspired countless acts of charity and community service. Figures like Mother Teresa embody this ethos, dedicating their lives to helping the marginalized, reinforcing Christianity's focus on empathy and selflessness. The Christian belief in the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, represents unity and diversity within the divine, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. This sense of community extends to social values like justice and care for others, impacting areas like healthcare, education, and social services. Christianity's influence can be seen in leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., whose advocacy for civil rights and nonviolent resistance was deeply informed by Christian principles of justice and love. King's vision of a society rooted in equality and mutual respect reflects Christianity's potential to inspire systemic change, bridging individual morality with societal ethics. Contrastingly, Marxism presents a secular worldview focused on addressing systemic inequalities in society. Marx and Engels critiqued capitalism as an inherently exploitative system, creating a division between the ruling bourgeoisie, those who control capital and production, and the proletariat, working class. They argued that capitalism leads to alienation, where workers lose connection with their labor and, consequently, with their humanity. For Marx, the ideal society is classless, stateless, and based on the collective ownership of resources, which would eliminate exploitation and ensure equal distribution of wealth. Marxist thought has influenced numerous political movements and policies worldwide. For instance, the Russian Revolution of 1917, which led to the establishment of the Soviet Union, was heavily inspired by Marxist principles. Although the Soviet Union faced significant criticisms for its authoritarian aspects, Marxist ideas have left a lasting legacy in discussions around social equity and workers' rights. In the United States, policies such as Social Security and minimum wage laws reflect elements of Marxist thought, aiming to reduce economic inequality and provide a safety net for vulnerable populations. Contemporary debates around wealth redistribution and social programs continue to draw on Marxist ideas, with advocates arguing for policies that address systemic inequalities and foster economic justice. Marx's vision for a classless society has inspired thinkers, politicians, and activists alike. Figures like Nelson Mandela, who fought against apartheid in South Africa, drew on Marxist ideas to advocate for equality and justice. While Mandela's political approach blended various influences, his commitment to social equality and dismantling oppressive systems reflects a core Marxist value: that societies must address the roots of inequality to achieve true justice. Utilitarianism, with its focus on maximizing happiness and minimizing suffering, offers a practical approach to ethics. Unlike Christianity and Marxism, which propose overarching ideals about morality and social structure, utilitarianism evaluates actions based on their outcomes. Bentham's greatest happiness principle suggests that moral actions are those that benefit the most people, providing a straightforward framework for decision-making. This consequentialist view was further refined by John Stuart Mill, who argued that not all pleasures are equal and that intellectual and moral pleasures should be prioritized over basic physical pleasures. Utilitarianism is particularly influential in areas like public policy, where decisions often affect large groups of people. Policymakers apply utilitarian principles when they conduct cost-benefit analyses, weighing the positive and negative consequences of proposed actions. For instance, Public health initiatives like vaccinations and mask mandates during pandemics are justified on utilitarian grounds, as they aim to protect the population at large, even if they impose temporary inconveniences on individuals. This focus on the greater good reflects the utilitarian belief that ethical actions are those that produce the most benefit for the greatest number of people. Utilitarian ethics can be observed in the leadership of figures like Bill Gates, whose philanthropic efforts through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation aim to maximize positive impacts globally. Gates' initiatives in global health, education, and poverty alleviation embody a utilitarian commitment to maximizing well-being. His foundation's work, such as funding for vaccines in developing countries, demonstrates how utilitarian ethics translate into real-world impact, where the emphasis is on measurable outcomes that improve quality of life for millions. Together, Christianity, Marxism, and utilitarianism offer contrasting yet illuminating perspectives on human conduct and societal organization. Christianity encourages a moral life rooted in compassion, humility, and forgiveness, often emphasizing community and individual responsibility. It provides a moral framework that influences both personal ethics and broader societal values. Marxism challenges the structures of inequality, advocating for systemic change to achieve social justice and equality. By focusing on class dynamics, Marxism highlights the importance of addressing economic disparities and empowering the marginalized. Utilitarianism, with its emphasis on consequentialism, offers a flexible and practical framework for ethical decision-making, focusing on outcomes rather than rigid moral codes. These philosophies also challenge individuals and societies to reflect on what it means to live ethically and justly. Christianity calls for love and forgiveness, reminding followers to see the humanity in others and act with empathy. Marxism challenges individuals to think about their role in society and to question systems that perpetuate inequality. Utilitarianism encourages a practical, results-oriented approach, asking people to consider how their actions impact the collective well-being. The influence of these philosophies extends into modern debates on issues like income inequality, healthcare, and social justice. For instance, the Christian concept of love thy neighbor resonates in discussions around universal healthcare, where proponents argue that access to medical services is a moral imperative. Marxist critiques of capitalism are echoed in movements that call for fair wages, corporate accountability, and equitable resource distribution. Utilitarianism, with its focus on the collective good, influences debates on environmental policy, where decisions often require balancing economic growth with the well-being of future generations. In engaging with Christianity, Marxism, and utilitarianism, one can gain a deeper understanding of the diverse approaches to ethics and the pursuit of a just society. Each philosophy presents a distinct vision of human flourishing and social organization, challenging individuals to think critically about their beliefs, values, and the impact of their actions. These Western philosophies encourage a holistic examination of societal structures and individual choices, offering valuable insights into the complex nature of morality, justice, and the common good. Existentialism, nihilism, and absurdism explore some of the most fundamental questions of human existence. Does life have inherent meaning? How should individuals navigate an indifferent or chaotic universe? Each philosophy takes a different approach to these questions, providing unique insights and challenges to traditional ways of understanding purpose, value, and responsibility. Existentialism, often associated with thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus, asserts that individuals are fundamentally free and must create their own meaning and purpose. Sartre famously declared that existence precedes essence, meaning that humans first exist without any predetermined essence or purpose, and it is up to each person to define themselves through choices and actions. Existentialism emphasizes personal responsibility. It suggests that individuals must confront their freedom and the weight of their decisions. This sense of freedom, however, can be daunting, often leading to what Sartre called existential angst. the anxiety of realizing one's ultimate freedom and responsibility in a world without inherent meaning. A notable figure exemplifying existentialist thought is Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist. Through his experiences in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl developed his philosophy of logotherapy, which holds that finding meaning is essential to human survival and well-being. Even in the face of extreme suffering and dehumanization, Frankl discovered that he could maintain a sense of purpose by focusing on his love for his family and his desire to help others. Frankl's approach embodies the existentialist notion that meaning can be self-constructed, even in circumstances where external sources of hope are stripped away. His story challenges individuals to find personal purpose, even in adversity, illustrating the existentialist idea that meaning can emerge from individual choice and perspective, regardless of external conditions. Nihilism, often seen as a more radical perspective, asserts that life lacks inherent meaning, value, or purpose. Nihilists reject traditional beliefs, religious doctrines, and societal norms, viewing them as arbitrary constructs without objective grounding. Nihilism questions not only religious or moral authority, but also challenges the assumption that life has any intrinsic purpose. This philosophy often leads to a form of existential disillusionment or despair, as individuals are left to grapple with a reality stripped of meaning. In popular culture, nihilistic themes can be observed in modern art and literature, where the rejection of conventional narratives and the embrace of ambiguity reflect a worldview that challenges the existence of objective truths or moral absolutes. The painter Francis Bacon, for instance, is known for his disturbing and chaotic depictions of human suffering and isolation, capturing a sense of existential despair and nihilism. Bacon's works highlight the idea that life, when stripped of comforting beliefs or ordered narratives, can appear meaningless and void of purpose. In literature, Fyodor Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground presents a protagonist who rejects society and lives in isolation, embodying the nihilistic struggle with a world devoid of values. However, nihilism can also be empowering in its own way, encouraging individuals to live freely without being constrained by external expectations or traditional values. Friedrich Nietzsche, often considered a proto-nihilist, argued that individuals could embrace a will to power, where they overcome nihilism by creating their own values and living according to self-determined principles. Nietzsche believed that, rather than succumbing to despair, individuals could confront the void of meaning and use it as an opportunity to shape their own reality. Figures like Nietzsche continue to inspire people to question societal norms and embrace their unique path, asserting that meaning must be self-created, not inherited from outdated conventions or religious doctrines. Absurdism, closely related to existentialism, emerges from the recognition of the inherent conflict between the human desire for meaning and the apparent meaninglessness of the universe. Albert Camus, a prominent figure in absurdist philosophy, described this tension as the absurd. According to Camus, while humans are driven to seek meaning, they are ultimately confronted with an indifferent or even hostile universe that offers no answers. In his essay The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus explores the story of Sisyphus, a figure from Greek mythology condemned to eternally push a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down each time he reaches the top. For Camus, Sisyphus represents the human condition, condemned to a life of struggle and repetition, yet capable of finding meaning by embracing this absurd existence. Camus advocated for an acceptance of the absurd, suggesting that individuals should live without hope for ultimate answers or resolutions and, instead, focus on living passionately in the moment. In this view, the quest for meaning itself becomes meaningful. Camus urged people to confront life's absurdity without resorting to nihilistic despair, seeing value in authentic experience. His perspective can be seen as a form of rebellion, where one asserts individual freedom by fully engaging in life despite its apparent lack of purpose. This approach challenges individuals to embrace their freedom and find joy in the act of living itself, a mindset that emphasizes personal fulfillment over abstract or elusive goals. A powerful example of absurdist themes can be found in Samuel Beckett's play Waiting for Godot. In the play, two characters, Vladimir and Estragon, wait endlessly for a figure named Godot, who never arrives. This repetitive and seemingly purposeless waiting highlights the absurdist view that human life often involves a search for answers that never come. Yet, despite the lack of resolution or meaning, Vladimir and Estragon continue their interactions and rituals, embodying Camus' notion of embracing life in the face of absurdity. Waiting for Godot captures the absurdist belief that while life may be meaningless, individuals can still find authenticity and purpose in their actions, even if those actions lack a clear outcome. Together, existentialism, nihilism, and absurdism offer distinct, sometimes overlapping, perspectives on human existence and meaning. Existentialism encourages individuals to confront their freedom, make conscious choices, and find personal purpose. Nihilism strips away traditional beliefs, questioning the foundation of values and purpose, often leading to a perspective that views life as inherently devoid of meaning. Absurdism acknowledges this lack of inherent meaning, but advocates for a defiant acceptance of life's absurdity, suggesting that meaning can still be found in the experience itself. These philosophies resonate in contemporary society, where rapid technological change, shifting cultural norms, and global uncertainty often leave individuals feeling disconnected or disillusioned. Figures like Elon Musk, who embraces the challenges of pushing humanity beyond Earth, embody an existentialist approach to purpose, channeling his freedom into projects that seek to shape the future. His endeavors demonstrate the existentialist idea that individuals can create their own meaning through bold, visionary actions. Likewise, Camus' philosophy of accepting the absurd continues to inspire people to live authentically and passionately. In an era where external sources of meaning can feel increasingly unreliable, the existential, nihilistic, and absurdist perspectives encourage individuals to take control of their narratives and live in a way that feels true to them. Each philosophy invites introspection and challenges societal norms, pushing individuals to confront questions of meaning, value, and purpose with honesty and courage. By engaging with these ideas, one gains a deeper understanding of the complexities of human existence and the diverse ways people navigate life's fundamental uncertainties. Modern philosophies like feminism, pragmatism, and phenomenology respond to contemporary issues, challenging traditional structures and ideologies while offering approaches to understand and improve the human experience. These philosophies not only shape academic discourse but also resonate through social movements, educational reforms, and therapeutic practices, emphasizing equity, practicality, and the exploration of subjective consciousness. Feminist philosophy is a transformative approach that critiques and deconstructs societal structures rooted in gender-based oppression, aiming to promote inclusivity and gender equality. It examines the intersections of gender with race, class, and sexuality, recognizing that experiences of discrimination or privilege are often multidimensional. Feminist philosophy has evolved from the early struggles for women's suffrage into a complex, multifaceted discourse that addresses systemic inequalities in all areas of life, including politics, economics, and social dynamics. Through its emphasis on intersectionality, a concept coined by scholar Kimberly Crenshaw, feminism acknowledges that overlapping identities shape individuals' experiences with power and oppression. One of the most prominent manifestations of feminist philosophy in action is the #MeToo movement, which brought issues of sexual harassment, assault, and abuse of power into the global spotlight. The movement underscores the feminist critique of patriarchal systems that historically silence or discredit survivors. The voices of high-profile figures like Tarana Burke, the movement's founder, and public advocates like Alyssa Milano have galvanized social change, compelling industries, institutions, and governments to examine and address their own roles in perpetuating inequality. Feminist philosophy in this context promotes accountability and empowers marginalized voices to reclaim their narratives, aiming to dismantle structures that sustain gender-based discrimination. Moreover, feminist philosophy has extended into the realm of popular culture and policymaking. Figures such as Malala Yousafzai and Ruth Bader Ginsburg exemplify feminist principles through their advocacy for gender equality in education and law. Malala's activism for girls' education in regions where such rights are restricted demonstrates how feminist ideals can inspire global movements for change. Ruth Bader Ginsburg's work on the U.S. Supreme Court, especially in cases that targeted gender discrimination, illustrates how feminist principles can be woven into legal frameworks, affecting societal norms and influencing future generations. Pragmatism, a philosophy deeply rooted in American intellectual tradition, emphasizes practical solutions and experiential learning over abstract theorizing. Developed by thinkers like William James and John Dewey, pragmatism asserts that ideas must be tested and evaluated based on their practical applications and their ability to solve real-world problems. Pragmatism dismisses rigid, one-size-fits-all answers, instead promoting adaptability, open-mindedness, and critical thinking as essential tools for progress. For pragmatists, truth is not absolute but a process. A concept becomes true insofar as it proves useful and beneficial in practice. John Dewey's contributions to education embody pragmatist principles, advocating for a hands-on, student-centered approach. Dewey believed that education should not merely transmit fixed knowledge, but instead engage students in active problem-solving and critical inquiry. His ideas laid the foundation for progressive education movements that prioritize experiential learning and adaptability, equipping students with skills to think critically and respond to the complexities of modern society. This approach has influenced countless educational reforms globally, with figures like Maria Montessori also advocating for education systems that cultivate creativity, independence, and collaborative problem-solving among students. In the realm of politics, pragmatic principles can be seen in the governance style of leaders who prioritize compromise, adaptability, and evidence-based policymaking. Figures like Angela Merkel, former Chancellor of Germany, exemplify pragmatic leadership by prioritizing practical solutions over ideological purity. Merkel's response to the European debt crisis and her handling of immigration issues were grounded in a pragmatic approach that valued stability and humanitarian considerations over rigid political dogmas. By focusing on solutions that address immediate needs and long-term stability, pragmatic leaders like Merkel demonstrate the value of flexible, adaptive thinking in governance. Phenomenology, founded by Edmund Husserl, delves into understanding the essence of conscious experiences from the first-person perspective. This philosophy emphasizes examining phenomena as they are perceived, free from biases or preconceived notions. Phenomenology is concerned with the structures of consciousness, exploring how individuals perceive, interpret, and interact with the world. Husserl argued that by bracketing out assumptions and approaching experiences with a fresh perspective, one can achieve a deeper understanding of how consciousness functions and constructs meaning. Phenomenology has had a significant influence on psychology and therapy, particularly in client-centered approaches that prioritize the subjective experience. Carl Rogers, a pioneer in humanistic psychology, integrated phenomenological ideas into his therapeutic practice, advocating for empathy, active listening, and a non-judgmental attitude toward clients. Rogers's approach allows individuals to express their experiences fully, validating their emotions and perceptions. This therapeutic model aligns with phenomenological principles by recognizing the unique, personal realities that shape each individual's experience, ultimately fostering a more empathetic and personalized form of psychological care. Phenomenology also influences fields like sociology and anthropology, where researchers aim to understand cultures and societies through the perspectives of those within them. This approach, known as ethnography, involves immersive engagement with communities to understand their values, beliefs, and everyday practices. Anthropologists like Clifford Geertz applied phenomenological methods to interpret cultural symbols and rituals from within, fostering a deeper appreciation for the lived experiences of different societies. By embracing phenomenological methods, researchers can move beyond external judgments, allowing for a more accurate and respectful portrayal of diverse ways of life. In contemporary discourse, phenomenological principles are increasingly relevant as technology reshapes how people interact with the world. Virtual reality, VR, technology, for instance, offers immersive experiences that challenge traditional notions of presence and perception, creating new ways to explore the boundaries of consciousness. VR's capacity to simulate alternate realities invites phenomenological inquiries into how these experiences impact identity, empathy, and social interaction. As individuals navigate both physical and digital realms, phenomenology provides tools for understanding the nuances of conscious experience in an increasingly interconnected world. Feminism, pragmatism, and phenomenology collectively address critical aspects of modern life: the push for equality and justice, the emphasis on practical problem-solving, and the exploration of consciousness and lived experience. They encourage individuals and societies to adopt inclusive, solution-oriented approaches while remaining aware of subjective perspectives and experiences. Through these lenses, society can better understand and respond to complex challenges, promoting a future that values both individual agency and collective well-being. By engaging with these philosophies, individuals are encouraged to reflect on their own lives, question prevailing norms, and contribute thoughtfully to a world that honors diversity, practicality, and human experience in all its forms. As we close today's exploration into these profound philosophical teachings, the journey we've taken reveals a truth that is both powerful and humbling. Philosophy isn't just an abstract set of ideas confined to books and classrooms. It is a practical guide to understanding ourselves, the world, and the ways in which we can navigate life's complexities with purpose and resilience. From the Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who found peace in the chaos of ruling an empire, to the serene practices of Buddhism and Taoism, which show us how to align ourselves with nature and embrace change with grace. Philosophy has always offered us tools to face life's greatest challenges, in a world that seems to demand more from us every day. These teachings remind us that peace and meaning often come not from what we achieve or acquire, but from how we approach life itself. Western philosophies such as Christianity, Marxism, and utilitarianism provide diverse perspectives on ethics, equality, and social justice. Christianity calls for a life of love, compassion, and forgiveness. Marxism critiques the injustices of capitalism, challenging us to envision a more equitable society. Utilitarianism, with its focus on the greatest good for the greatest number, urges us to consider the collective well-being in every decision we make. These philosophies are as relevant today as ever, shaping our moral frameworks and urging us to reflect on the type of world we want to create. Yet, as we look deeper into existentialism, nihilism, and absurdism, we confront the daunting yet liberating realization that life may not offer inherent meaning or purpose. The absurdity of existence, as explored by thinkers like Albert Camus, forces us to confront the void and still choose to live authentically, embracing the uncertainty and embracing what we can create for ourselves. And then, we turn to modern philosophies like feminism, pragmatism, and phenomenology, which engage directly with the challenges of the 21st century. Feminism continues to challenge societal norms, seeking justice and equality. Pragmatism offers real-world solutions, focusing on practical outcomes rather than idealized theories. Phenomenology invites us to explore the depth of our subjective experiences, urging us to understand the world from a personal and empathetic lens. As we conclude, the power of these diverse philosophical schools is clear. They offer us more than just ideas. They offer us ways to live better, more meaningful lives. Each of these teachings calls us to look inward, reflect on our values, and make intentional choices. And while no single philosophy has all the answers, the collective wisdom of these traditions provides a rich tapestry of tools and insights to help us navigate the complexities of life. So, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you embrace the Stoics' tranquility, the Buddhists' mindfulness, or the Marxist vision for a just society? Will you accept the absurdity of life and live authentically, or challenge the status quo to make the world more equitable? The path is yours to choose. And as you journey forward, remember that philosophy isn't just about the answers. It's about asking the right questions and seeking the wisdom to live them out in your daily life. Thank you for joining us today on Philosophy Playground. If you found this exploration enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's continue this conversation, as the pursuit of wisdom is a journey we walk together.